All right, and I think we are live. ETM Hotep, and welcome to another Freestyle Friday session with the Seshew Medunetcha. And as you all know, every Friday we go through inscription from Kemet, and we do this by just freestyling. As you know, when you're reading inscriptions from Kemet, usually you employ the tools such as sign list and dictionary. But on our Freestyle Friday sessions, we go at it without any of those tools. So we just go off the dome freestyle, and yeah, we do that to pretty much sharpen our skills and see much, test our memories and see, how much of what we have learned we have retained. So yeah, welcome to the freestyle sessions, and I'll just take a moment to see who we have with us on the live chat, and hopefully we do have the live chat going. Do we have that going?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. So I see we have Sinet Monica. So welcome. And yeah, before we do anything, what we have as customary at the Seshew is we go through the offering formula, and on the offering formula, I'll just quickly share that on my screen and just let me know if it is showing. I'll go ahead and share it right away.
To you, I can see it.
All right, I'm gonna have to find it myself. Okay, so is it showing on the YouTube channel as well?
Uh, let's see. I know there's a slight delay on there, so
Yes, yes.
okay, it's showing.
Okay, and for our viewers, if you're watching on YouTube right now, and probably it doesn't come out quite clear, I would actually suggest that you go through on a cogwheel and then you change your settings to at least 480 going up, and you'll be able um, to see what we're reading and what we're going through a little bit more clearer. So I will go ahead and I will read the offering or recite the offering formula. What we have at the top is written in Sesh Medunecha, and as you know, as the hieroglyphics. And then what we have here in the middle, that is written in that is the transliteration, and is written in a diacritic system. So then you can see some diacritic marks on some of the words. And then what we have at the bottom is a translation. And so I'll go ahead and read it. And I'll just before I do that, I would like to add that there's a part where we insert the name of a deceased person, and in this case, I will we usually insert the name of Aku or the ancestors. So, but you can recite along and insert the name of whoever you feel is preferable. So I'll go ahead and do that. So Hotep Dinasu, Wesser Nebjedu, Netra Neb Abju, DF Peret Heru, T Henket, Ka Apet Shes Menchet, Het Nebet Neferet Wabet Anchet Netra Im, In Kani Imahu Aku Maaheru. And the translation is an offering which the king gives Osiris, Lord of Jeddu, great God, Lord of Abydos, so that he may give verbal offerings in bread, beer, ox, fowl, alabaster, linen, everything good and pure on which a god lives, for the car of the revered one, the ancestors justified. And yes, and so with that, I would like to go ahead and quickly introduce myself. My name is Tonika, and I will be your host for some part of tonight's session. And I would like some of my guests on my panel to introduce themselves as well.
ETM Hotep, that's welcome and peace. Thanks for tuning in to our Freestyle Fridays. I hope you enjoy the show and leave satisfied. Hotep. Oh, it's Brother June, by the way.
All right, and we are definitely gonna have more members coming through for the night. But in the meantime, I think we'll just go ahead and run it because we do have also our guests on the chat, and I can see some more people came in. I see Flint Martinez, Hotep, and Monica was already there. So Hotep and Kevin, Kevin Howard. Yeah. So ETM Hotep. So welcome and yeah. Um, so what we have here for tonight, let me quickly go and find the inscription. Um, so hopefully you're able to see that.
To you. Yes, I can
Okay.
see it.
All right. I'll give it a moment to just for the delay to just go and show on YouTube. I see also sister uh Lisa just joined. So Hotep and welcome. And yes, okay. So we do have that showing on YouTube, and this is one of an usually with on the Freestyle Fridays. We do have some members of the group. We have a Facebook group who will supply some inscription if there's something that they want transliterated and translated. Sometimes you also get some primaries from our own members and all that. But today we're going to look at this what you see on your screen. And as you all know, we have it's freestyle, so it's Freestyle Fridays, but we still do go through the 4 steps. We might not work on it as we do on our Wednesday session, but even though it seems like we're not doing that, we do actually go through that and But I will give our guests on the chat the chance to let us know to go through the first step, which is to determine the direction which we read the signs in. So I'll wait for somebody on the chat to do that. And obviously we do have a delay, so if anybody on the chat knows, or if it's not clear, just let me know so I can zoom in a little closer on the image. Okay, so I see LV Love says we read from right to left. Uh, okay, when you say right to left, is it the whole inscription or which particular part? Okay, Jehudi Mahar says vertical left to right. So oh, the top part. Okay, so LV Love says the top part. Let's look at it. Um, what do you say, Senjun?
For this top part, it looks like we have 2 different directions. Now, out of the 4 directions that were possible, which would be left to right or right to left vertically or in columns, or you could have them going horizontally left to right or right to left. So on the top, I see 2 different directions. And how we usually tell which way to read is looking into the inscriptions. So you want to look for any birds, animals, or any signs that will give you an indication of which way to read. And like I said, you want to read into the faces. So we see a bird in this second column to the right. We see a bird facing the right side.
Mm-hmm.
A few glyphs over to the left, we see um, the Netcher symbol facing to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So that would give us an indication that this section of the top will be read from right to left.
Mm-hmm.
But in the further right column, we have a reed leaf, which is facing to the left. Um, and then another way you can tell is we have a single stroke, which is usually behind a glyph. So we have the single stroke behind the glyph, giving us another indication that this is to be read left to right. So on this top portion, we have two different directions.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So horizontal, right to left, and vertical, left to right. Okay. Let's see what the other people in the chat say. Hotep Jehudi Ma'at, Hotep Shon. So first column, vertical left to right. Jehudi Ma'at says, right? Okay. And so LV Loves is asking, so which would we read first? The vertical left to right or vertical right to left? Where to start as the first column? Okay, I get it. Yes. Usually you can start. It's not there's no particular preferences, but as long as you're reading them correctly. So we could start from this part. We could start with the column, or we could start with the rows. But there is no systematic way until you But as long as you're doing it correctly, and you're not reading on the opposite side. I hope that answers the question. Okay. Yes, Sean P, you're not late. Yeah, so what about the bottom parts? I hope everybody can see that. And if anybody on the chat wants to let us know the direction to read it on.
Yeah, a few more glyphs down here to
Mm-hmm.
work with and being able to figure out which direction. So hopefully it's easier.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I see Sean P. Yes, vertical, left to right. Yeah, Elvila vertical, left to right. Yeah, so that's pretty easy. I suppose, we have like a well-informed uh, group of people. So yes, that is correct, right? June, St. June. Vertical left to
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Left
And
to right.
that's pretty good. Okay, so then obviously the next step usually is to identify the signs. And I don't know if you want to quickly go through some of the signs that you can identify, maybe from the top or the bottom, whatever it is that you feel like going through first.
Okay. I'll start on the further the column on all the way on the right.
Okay.
Reading left to right, the first sign I see is the reed leaf,
Mm-hmm.
which we know is the Gardner code M17.
Mm-hmm.
And going to the right, I see the Sonnet board.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bilateral, giving us the transliteration NB. I'm sorry, MN. I'm sorry, I was thinking of something else. That's a
No, that's good.
transliteration. Yeah, MN.
Right, right, right.
I think the Gardner code on that is Y5.
I'm not sure, but I know you know that. Okay.
Underneath that, we have a water ripple. On this one, it kind of looks like a straight line,
Mm,
but that is the Gardner code N35, the water ripple, which is a phonetic complement to the MN. So in transliterating this, it would just be MN. We wouldn't write the N again.
right.
As I said, it's complementing. Under that, we have which looks like a circle,
Mm-hmm.
Gardner code N5. To the right of that, we have a single stroke. It's Gardner code Z1. Underneath that, we have a basket. It's Gardner code D30. Gives us a transliteration of NB.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath that, we have the jar stand, which is Gardner code W11.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually three of those. And then underneath that, we have two long strips. Those are for land, or it's the transliteration T capital A. We have two of those.
Right.
So, yeah, important tool in this step is the sign list. And we use the sign list to gather all the information. This is like the data collecting stage. You want to gather the Gardner code, the transliteration, and the way that the sign can function to either be a determinative, a logogram, or give you a phonetic value. So yeah, you just go through and basically for step two and identify each sign. I'm not sure how far we'll get on the whole thing with this step, but I can point out some more signs on the top in the horizontal row, reading from right to left. We see the circle, the sun with over a bird.
Right.
Behind that, we see two fat lines. That's
Mm-hmm.
for I'm not sure the Gardner code. Uh,
Yeah, not sure either, but I think it's known as the Sandy Tract or something like that.
mm,
Mm.
N18 or
okay.
N19.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be in the N category.
Mm.
To the left of that, we have the which gives us the transliteration N capital T R is Gardner code R8
Mm.
for the yep for Netcher. Behind that, we have a wooden column.
Mm.
Transliteration will be A capital A. I can't remember the Gardner code on that one.
Okay. Mm.
And then going on to the left, we see a basket. Once again, that's Gardner code V30,
Okay.
giving us the transliteration NB. Underneath that, we have the hoot. I'm not sure the Gardner code, but I know it's the transliteration capital HWT.
Okay.
And I think I think that might be the bread loaf. Is that a phonetic complement?
It could be.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a little bit of damage on this
Mm.
Stella. But
Yeah.
for now, I would think that's raised bread loaf, which is Gardner code X1,
Okay.
giving us the transliteration of T. Under that, we have an enclosure. In this case, this might be used as a determinative.
Mm.
If not, it'll give us the phonetic value of PR, or
Mm.
translation. It'll give us the transliteration of PR.
Okay.
So that's just identifying more signs on this top section. And
Okay.
basically, that's what we do in step two.
All right. Yeah, I can see we have some more members of the panel. I'll just give them a moment to introduce themselves.
Yes, brother Chris.
Noted. Yes. And we have Son Coffee. So yeah, he will introduce himself in a minute. But yeah, so going through that, and does anybody should we let somebody on the chat give us the transliteration? Or would you just anybody on the chat feeling like doing a quick transliteration of that?
Uh, Jehudi had something. He put. Let me find it. I saw something. What did he put? Where'd it go? Oh, he put Amin Ra Nebu Tawi. IMNRANB.W T capital AWY. That's what he has for. I guess he's doing this column all the way on the right.
Okay. All right. And anybody else want to take a shot at it?
That's pretty close.
Mm.
While they do that, we'll give them a second
Yes.
to see if they can transliterate this right column. So I saw a question. Someone asked, "What are they holding?" So they've looking at the images, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The two on the right are holding the wasp scepter.
Mm-hmm.
We know that sign. Yeah, we know that
Right.
sign to mean dominion.
Mm.
And then the figure on the left is holding a wasp scepter, but it also looks like he has the Jed column.
Right.
And we know
Okay.
that sign for like stability.
Right. Oh yeah, and they're also holding the ankhs usually on the other hand. Just
Yeah,
note that.
yeah. The figure on the right is holding the Ankh. So
Okay.
I didn't see any
So
more tries at the transliteration.
all right. So we have Jehudi Ma'at with Amen Ra Nebu Tawi. What do we say about that on this part?
Okay. Well, part step 3 is when you're gonna parse or group the signs together to come up with words. A helpful tool in this step is the dictionary, um, and all the data you've collected in step 2.
Mm.
So I can tell, yeah, most of it right. The reed leaf, the game board, and the phonetic complement is amen, transliterated I am N. Underneath that, we have the N5, that's the sun with the single stroke, so that would be Ra. So
Right.
the first couple words in this column are Amen Ra.
Mm.
Underneath that, we have the basket, like I said, is Neb.
Mm-hmm.
And then in doing these Freestyle Fridays, we often combine step 3 and 4. But
Correct.
so, but just to compare what we get on our transliteration and his, I would put Neb, and then underneath that we have the 3 jar stands, which usually by themselves would give us a transliteration of G, but all 3 of them together, we usually would transliterate this N S W T, the suit.
Correct. Right. Right. Because yeah, on a single could be nested, and because they're three, so that would be nested. That's correct.
Yeah, and then underneath that we have the 2 strips of land. He had that correct, Tawi,
Mm-hmm.
T capital A W Y, Tawi. So good job, Jehudi, with that.
Yeah. So
Uh,
pretty much it was correct, and only this part was missing.
hmm And put
Tawi.
that and put the small A with Ra.
Right.
Uh, yeah, because you know the in the manual decodage, which is the transliteration system that we use, the capital A would give us a different value.
Okay. So I guess do you want to go ahead and translate? But that would be Amen Ra. Lord, I can do that real quick anyway. You know, let you rest a bit. But yeah, Amen Ra, Lord of the thrones of the two lands. So these will be thrones, and then this will be the two lands, Tawi, as you've said. And as you said, usually we just go through the step number 3 and step number 4. We pretty much do them all together in one. So that would be the transliteration and the translation. And yeah, I don't know if somebody else wants to take. Maybe we will give somebody from the panel the chance to give a quick transliteration of all this part and a translation. Just freestyle over it. Who wants to take a coffee? St. Chris.
The brothers might be away from their mic.
Okay. All right. But since you already did that part, you can knock it off.
Yeah.
I had
Oh, okay. Here
Okay.
goes Chris.
All right.
well, I'm on my phone, kind of hard to see. Look like we got forget what the combination is. It might be G9, but we got G5. We got on the tail. We got the N5. Well, you already did. You just said transliteration, translation.
Of this part, yeah, Senjun had already identified the signs pretty much, and some of the and the transliterations or some
Yeah,
of
be
them.
Ra Harakti.
Mm.
Not sure. It's like damage right there behind.
Mm.
We have Netra I don't know if that line is in between them.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
the line.
Neb Hoot.
Okay.
So we have Ra Harakti,
Mm.
Great Divinity, Lord of the Temple.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty quick. Let's see if anybody else in the chat did get that correctly. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Jehudi Ma'at actually was. Let me see. I'll just scroll up real quick. I think he just kind of lost it. Yeah, he said Ra, Paraketsi, Netra Art, Neb, something, Per. Yeah, that last part. Neb, Hewit. Okay. Is there any questions? If anybody can see any read through real quick, and I'll just scroll at the bottom, just go on that part. It looks like people on the chat are pretty good at it. I mean, it's most of the stuff are pretty much correct. 99% is correct.
They've been watching our shows.
Yeah.
Jehudi took some classes somewhere. Getting
Juhud
him
is
on a
getting it
panel.
from Juhud is sun gazing. I think I don't know because he's he's knocking them off. Oh yes, and I see we have some new guests as well. So I'll say hotep to is it Tida Disheta? Hopefully I'm saying that right. And who else do we have? I saw some new names here. Um, oh yeah, and hotep to Send Strife and Aziz, Michael Henry, hotep. And yes, I see we have Black African Power Network, hotep. Welcome. We are the Seshew Animated Nature, and you're tuning in on our Freestyle Fridays where we read glyphs. We freestyle on the glyphs, go off the dome, no tools. But obviously, if since we are not using any dictionaries or the sign list at the end of this, if there are any signs that we are not able to get to read correctly off the dome, then we will actually look it up on the dictionary just so we conclude properly. But as we're going now, we're doing that without the sign list or the dictionary, so it's a freestyle. So, but welcome to our show. So, anybody wants to go through the bottom part? Anybody on the panel want to take column or the whole thing? Who knows? Or should we let our very, very, very brilliant guest on the chat continue with some of the signs?
Well, just a reminder, in the first step, we we said that it's reading left to right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, so we're reading vertical, left to right. I think everybody did get that correctly on the chat. That was pretty good. So yeah. So if anybody in the chat wants to try to go on the first column, see what you can get, probably identify some of the signs. We can do that as well if the signs that I know there's some probably monoliterals, we know that already, but anybody on the panel want to take a crack at it, identify some signs? Or it's too easy. They're like, nah.
I was trying to look to see if someone had put in a guess yet.
Okay.
But I can identify some signs in the first column. The first sign we have is the mouth, which would be Gardner code D21. And gives us the transliteration of R. Underneath that, we have the raised bread loaf, which is Gardner code X1, gives us a transliteration of T. Underneath that, we have the arm, that's Gardner code D36.
Mm.
And then we have the reed leaf again, which is M17. To the right of that, we have 3 strokes. And then behind that, we have the man with his arms raised out. That's like the praise position. Underneath that, we have the water ripple. It's Gardner code N35, giving us the transliteration N. And then below that, we have what we saw up top in the first column, Amin Ra. And then I'll jump to the second section. We have the second column. We have the reed leaf again. We have the crown. Underneath that, we have the Sioux plant. That's Gardner code M23. And then we have the scribal instrument, the Sesh palette, the scribal palette. And then we have a folded cloth. And that just reminds me, because that's a monoliteral. So, important thing that will also help in these transliterations and translations is memorizing the monoliterals. So that's just basically like close to the alphabet. It's like 1 syllable consonants. On the right of that folded cloth, we have the star. To the right of that, we have the leg. That's Gardner code D58. The water ripple N35. So y'all get it. That's basically step 2 is just going through identifying the signs, gathering all the information on it that will help you in the next steps.
All right. Dua, and let's see what we have. If anybody on the chat also went through some of the signs. Mouth, bread, loaf. Yes. Yeah, because see, Sean already was working on the beginning part. That is correct. Sean. And yeah. Anybody wants to go at it? Translation of maybe the first part or this whole part. But I would actually like to say, I don't know what this sign is at the bottom here. I don't know if anybody in the panel can identify that one.
Is that the him? Capital HM?
All right. It could be, actually. What do you guys say?
Yeah.
All right. And then, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we can see once we get to it if that like matches with the context of what everything else is saying.
Okay. Yeah, and do you want us to go through this part as well right now, or just go through this in the beginning? Identify some of it, because over here I don't know if it's clear on your part, but
I can see it.
okay, good. All right, so yeah, I could try this, but I'm not sure about this beginning part here. I don't know if anybody on the panel can actually knows the transliteration and translation for this beginning part. I think that's, I was trying to go through all this, but that messes me up though.
You don't know what that is?
Honestly, I wouldn't know how to put it together, because yeah, I don't know if it was it's RAT, no, it's RTA, but I was wondering, how is it the proposition, or was it RAT, or
It's Reddit, a
all
form
right?
of ready.
Yeah, I should have known that. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Dua. All right. So
So that's RDIT.
okay. So that will be Reddit, and then Yao, and I mean Ra Harakti, and then we have Pata. Now this part here, I wouldn't even. Anybody else has a suggestion of how to read about this part with the patah and is it a reed leaf?
I'm looking. I'm trying to really. Is that Patah? Or saying Amin Ra? Is it saying pet? And then would that be the star?
Um, this looks like it could be twisted flax. Let me just zoom in a little bit closer, but I'm not sure. You see the reed mat, the raised bread loaf, and then that looks like it could be the twisted flax. I'm not sure at this point, but it looks like it. I don't know what you guys say.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first.
Hmm.
Patah would that be the papyrus roll after it? Maybe. Let's
This,
see if we see another one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could. Yeah, I don't know. It does look like that. It looks like a feather. It looks like the reed leaf. So I'm not sure. I don't know what you guys say on the panel. The other, send Chris or send Coffee. What you guys? What's your suggestion?
It's a little too damaged for me to make out, and I'm on my phone.
Do you want me to zoom in a little closer, or is it fine at this point? It's fine. Or maybe somebody on the chat probably can see it. What do we have on the chat? And while we do that, I'll just go ahead and zoom in. Try to see if I can zoom in a little more closely without losing. That is not so good. Or we can just keep that and come back to it in a minute. Yeah, anybody wants to take the second column while we wait for the chat, just so we don't go through the silence? Okay. Truth Heart says I should scroll up. I don't know if it's fine now for you. Somebody said he looked like a star, but we can definitely come back to that later on. So maybe we can continue with the second column and then build some context to it, and maybe it will help.
All right. The first two signs we group together. This I N N. Sometimes that could be by, be translated as by.
Mm.
But then underneath that we have Sesh Nasut. It's like royal scribe.
Right.
Underneath that, these next, I think the next three, we have the S, and then the star, and then the leg for beast. Was that Saba?
Mm.
I think that might be Saba.
Right.
Underneath that we have N, and then this is what I thought was the club, him, capital HM.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's like a priest or a servant, priest or servant, something like that.
But yeah, and then we have Hemef on this one. I think there's a horn vibe at the bottom.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
so clear.
yeah, good eye. I didn't see it. Yeah. So yeah, and that is a common. So that's probably what that is. Like we see him F a lot for His Majesty.
Right.
And then underneath that we have the folded cloth again, which is Gartner code S29, usually giving us the transliteration S. But next to it, I see I think that's the Capra beetle. Transliteration XPR, and underneath that we have water ripple again. So I think on this group, the S and the or the folded cloth and the Kepler beetle together.
Mm.
Kepler. I think that might be what we see sometimes is a causative.
Okay.
So that might mean we know Kepler to mean um, what
Transform.
yeah, transformation or forms. So this phrase might say to cause to change or cause to transform,
Mm.
something like that.
All right. So that will be by if you just go through the whole column, just to give a translation.
By the royal scribe. I know we get a lot of different definitions for Saba, um, but it can mean, I think that's like, would some of the translation be like teacher or student
Mm.
or and then underneath that is by His Majesty to cause. So I'm not sure what translation I would use for Saba right here.
Okay. Wait, anybody have any idea on the panel while I quickly check through the chart to see what we have?
So now we went through another line. Maybe we can go back to the first line and see what we had. So you said the first one was
Say
it's
again,
like
did?
RT, yeah, red T.
Yeah,
Was
so I
that
read
like
it
to give?
to give, and then we have praises, and then I
Mm-hmm.
get to Amen Ra, and then you have
Give praise.
yeah, and then you have Ra Horoketi, and we kind of paused on this one. Then we have I guess we paused on this first, so I don't know if we can build some context to it now. If anybody's
Maybe.
looked through it on the panel, feel free to. Hard. But yeah, Senjun, you were saying something.
I just noticed the basket on the bottom of the first column, Neb, which you usually translate as Lord or possessor, and then we go to the second column. It says in.
Yeah, but because it appears at the bottom, right? So it could be Lord or possessor, or it could be all. So depending on where
Yeah,
in a sentence it is. So this, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta figure out that word before it. Okay, so basically, is to give praises to Amen Ra, Ra Horaketi, blank, by a royal scribes, or by the royal scribe.
Teacher or student of His Majesty.
Yeah.
I'm guessing at this point.
Yeah. And then the cause to change at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, then you have off, and then we can go to this part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who wants to take that part?
Hotep. I'm gonna say Hotep. Everybody.
Oh, Hotep. Yes. Okay, introduce yourself. Yes, I didn't see you coming.
Yeah, try to sneak in.
Everybody tries to sneak in.
The side exit. Yeah, this is Wujao, and I'm listening in to try to catch up to see where you all are, and chime in.
Okay. Yes, we have taken pretty much we've gone through the top part, the transliteration and translation, and now we were working at the bottom part. This.
Okay, so you already did the first row, second row, and third row.
We haven't done the third row, and on this first and the second row, we are the first row we still not sure on this part at the bottom there, and then I think here the translation, trying to figure out on this part.
Okay, the second column, I should say.
Mm.
See, I'm not sure what you all said, but you have by the royal scribe and teacher of His Majesty, educated, who brought up the Lord of the Two Lands from childhood, and Emir per hedge, which is the treasurer. And then the treasurer net is of, and then you have I can't see that very well, but it looks like a hut, which is the palace of whose ever name is in it. Look like what's a Murad Ra, Satepin Ra.
Okay.
Miriam Ra. That's what it looks like. So yeah, that's those two columns.
Okay, that's good.
So in Seshew, Siba ni Hemf, Sakepra in Nebtawi Sehut, Emira per hedge, net hut, Wasser Ma'at Ra, Satepin Ra, Amun per. Looks like that's what's inside there.
That's a long name.
Yeah, that's definitely administration, because
Okay. All right. Let's see what we have on the chat as well, just so we don't forget.
That's my contribution for the.
All right, and we will probably have to look at that.
Yeah, because we got tripped up on this bottom part right here.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay, Hotep Shesmu, and yeah. I don't know if anybody no, we don't have going on in the chat. Yeah, so okay, well, we figured that out. Like I said at the end, if because we are doing this off the dome, so in the end, if there's some parts where we're not clear of, we'll definitely have to whip out our dictionaries, science, whatever, and go through this, so we just don't leave the whole inscription hanging and all that. But we can do this part left. There's a little part of it left, and then we can come back to this. So we have that and the last bit.
I said, what's the first one? Say it again.
Yeah. So I can tell this is definitely emir of some cattle, but I don't know what the transliteration to that is. Anybody know?
Well, one thing.
Emir.
Yeah.
That's all I would have at the beginning is Emir or Emir.
Emira.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Emira, but I'm not sure about the cattle with the three strokes.
Yeah.
Or the three dots.
Mm-hmm. And then you have and Monchu. Okay, but anybody? Who do we have here? Let's see. Who do we have on? Coffee is having some coffee. I don't know.
Y'all trying to do the last column?
Yes.
The last two.
That part, yeah.
Well, one thing about freestyling is, recognition of pattern recognition. So there's a way that certain things are written, like even in English, that a definite article or some kind of article comes before a noun. Like we always use the word the, a, or and. So a book, the book, and we use an if the word starts off with a vowel. So we say an eraser. We don't say a eraser, an eraser. So it's like certain things that we know by being familiar with the language and certain patterns. So this is obviously Verit, Ya'u, Amun Ra, Rahar Keti, Ptah, and then you have a questionable glyph, and then the Neb looked like the Neb basket, and then you have Bai, the royal scribe. So the reason I'm saying this is because once you recognize the patterns, and this is a stella, you'll know that stella deals with a lot of epithets. So this person kneeling is there definitely going to be a name in there. So sometimes names are not translated; they're actually just a name. So this Emi Ra in the third, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth column from the left is not only is this person the treasurer. Well, first of all, he's a royal scribe and tutor or teacher of the king. So Hemeth, which is his majesty, and brought him up from a young age. You have the Sahut word, and then it goes into more titles. So at the end of this line, you see Macheru right above, right in front of the face. So if you go right before that, that has to be the person's name. So it's the capital T and then the I, then the A. So Chia Macheru. So that's a title. So Emira, and then whatever the cattle is, the overseer of the cattle of Amun Ra, but it may not necessarily mean cattle literally, but it's the overseer of some position of Amun, and then the name.
All right. So then you have and then Mahiru. All right, got it.
So I just want to emphasize, patterns. We once we start getting recognition of patterns as far as the words, but then there's patterns in terms of syntax of sentences and things. So you got internal patterns, which you recognize words, but then you have external patterns where you recognize the order of these phrases and things on the various different artifacts and stuff like that. So
right. That is correct, because usually, like I said, the name will come at the end, and we've seen that also with the Hotep Tunishu that we usually read and all that in a different styles. So that correct. I think Sean had asked something about the name on the name in here. I don't know if you can type that on the chat. If anybody can do that. The one in this Hewut.
Oh, inside the name. Oh, that's Ramses the second. Wasir Mat Ras and Tepin Ra.
Okay, and what other questions do we have? But yeah, we're still stuck on this one. I guess, we don't want to leave anything undone. But this part here, since we have all this down, do we want to go through the dictionary and look at this?
Well, was the sign identified?
Nah, that's what we couldn't figure out what it was. So
because it looks like Ptah, P-T, you got the reed mat, raised bare loaf, twisted flax, and then that could be the determinative of Ptah standing, because Ptah has a determinative of a seated nature or standing with the jed staff in the hand or whatever the case is. It could very well. I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying those are possibilities, because that's the way that's spelled. But from this picture, you can't really tell. So that will be the fault of the quality of the picture.
Right.
And the only reason I say that is because if you scroll back up to the top, because see, everything has to make sense. So if you scroll back up to the top register, the very top, you'll see the same deities right there, the same Netru. So you have Amen or Amen Ra, you have Rahar Keti, and then you have Ptah. So when you scroll back down to that first column, you start to see a pattern where all three of them are being mentioned, and why they're being mentioned, because adoration is being given. So you have Redi or Redit, Ya'u, which is given adoration to, and then you have the list of deities. So you have Amun Ra, Raharaketi, and Ptah. So it only makes sense.
Right. Yes. So yeah, definitely that there's a lot going on, and obviously you have to, we have to utilize a lot of to put a lot of senses into this as well, and try to make sense of everything. Obviously, most of these primaries are not going to be in perfect condition, so that's how you get them. So we have the top part pretty much done, and we have this bottom part. Makes sense with mentioning of the deities there, and then you have Neb, and then we continue to that. I think we've pretty much got all these other parts. So let's see if we have any questions. If something is not clear, any questions on the from the chat or from the panel? Okay. Shesmu is asking, what was the top part? To be clear. Okay. The top part, I can quickly go through it. That was Amenra, Neb, Nesu, Tawi. Amenra, Lord of the Thrones of the Two Lands. And then you have Ra Horaketse, Necha, Neb, Hewut. So let me zoom in on this part. So you have Ra Horakete, and then you have Necha, Neb, Hewut. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay. And then you said, can you ID the last glyph? I see the walking legs. Where do you see the walking legs? On the top part or the bottom? Okay, on the top part, is it on the rows or on the column is it on the column on the right or on the rows on the left? Oh, are you talking about this? Okay. Let me know if that's what you're talking about. I know there's a delay, so I'll just wait. Is it that part?
Well, at the end right there, that's the enclosure.
There's no below. I think that's the last part. Last column. Last column. What we have on the top part, the last column. You mean this or that? Because
I think he said on the bottom. He said below.
Okay.
Also, Lisa had a question down there too on the bottom.
Okay. What was the question? But I don't see the walking legs down here though.
Yeah, me neither. If he's looking all the way at the right, that's the a common phrase we see after the name. It is just all the way on the right. Yeah, that's a well, we see the seated man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a determinative, and then we have ma karu. It's the platform, which is the ma m capital A, and then we have the or. I think it's like the or, which is transliterated XRW. So
Right.
those two signs will be ma karu.
Okay. Okay. And what was the other question?
What is that in the bottom second row next to the folded cloth? On the bottom second row next to the folded cloth.
That
That's
one?
the Kemper beetle.
That's the, yeah, exactly.
Transliterated XPR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically, everything is identified. The only question mark is at the very bottom left, where it's kind of a little fuzzy,
Yeah.
but everything else is pretty solid.
Right. So that's pretty good. I mean, we can go through the whole inscription, of the dome and put some context to it. And as you can see, it's definitely worth it. Work it as a group because you're not going to know everything at the end of the day. So that is also one of the best things to do in with this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Wu Zhao said earlier, a lot of things are they repeat. So something we see on this stela, we might find written somewhere else, and just working with stuff like this helps the memory.
Mm. Yes, and this is definitely why we do the freestyle Fridays. I mean, it's when you're working with the glyphs, it's a lot of glyphs that we're working with. Obviously, different from our regular alphabet, and we might know a lot of things, but some of them slip from the mind. But this is one of the ways to make sure that we're able to see how much of it we retaining, and then if it's something we forgot, then you kind of like bring it back again. Like you can see, I couldn't tell what this was. Obviously you've gone through it, we've seen it, but sometimes you see something and you don't really, really keep it that way. But it's kind of good. And when you're working with a team, what you forget, somebody else might have it in memory. So that's good as well.
Yeah, that's perfect because one thing I would like to stress again is that these patterns and a lot of things repeat in other artifacts and other locations and in other eras of time all throughout Kemet. So this is why I always suggest that people, the way that you should study and go through these exercises on your own is to pick a certain genre of text or genre of artifact. So, for example, if you're going to do a work on Stella, then do a couple of Stella. Do several back to back, different Stella, because on Stella or Stelli, you'll have pretty much the same kind of patterns there, although the words may be different because obviously the individual Stelli will be to a particular person, different person each time. Like this is to this person, Chia. Um, so the names will change, and then obviously their job positions during their lifetime will be different, but you'll see the same patterns. So it's good to, like, if you do this Stella, then you do others, because then you'll start to recognize a pattern. And then, like, for example, if you see what's another good repetition, you'll see at the top of different steli, you'll see a Hotep Dinasu formula, which is the offering formula at the top of them a lot of times. So, do a whole bunch of those and you'll start to see a pattern develop there. This one doesn't have one on it. And I don't know if it's on the back of this or if there's anything on the back of this, but usually on different stela, you will have a offering formula included also. So it's always good to kind of like stick to genre and then, do a couple of them before moving on to another. And that's just to develop pattern recognition, not only internal pattern recognition with the signs so you can see the words, but the text recognition, which will be the order in which these things are said, and everything. Right. The epithets and stuff, just like how we learn about the quotation formula, the Jed Medu N. If it's Jed Medu N, there's going to be a name right after it. If it's just Jed Medu, then it's going to go right into what was said, and then the name comes after that. So the same thing.
Right. I'll definitely agree with that. I've been one of the things that has helped me a lot is in the lately trying to focus on the offering formulas a lot. And then, as you say, I mean, you kind of like not just trying to figure out what the glyphs are, but also trying to figure out how everything is placed. You always kind of have a feeling of what is going to be mentioned next. It might not be what name in particular or what figures in particular, but what to expect, and that is something that is definitely good to do instead of jumping around. So that is true. I can definitely say that it has helped, me with that. So yeah, work with a particular type of inscription at a time.
Mm-hmm. And also a genre of text is obviously the Runu Peren Imheru, which is the books of the dead. So if you're going to study the so-called Book of the Dead of Ani, then, bump on over to the Book of the Dead of Hunefer, and bump on over to the Book of the Dead of someone else, that way you'll start to see a repetition of the different so-called utterances that they need chapters or spells and things. So it's always good to do that. And I'm only saying that to develop the pattern. Then once you recognize these patterns and you get good at it and proficient at it, then you can pretty much pick up a text and just go for it, along with learning the grammar.
Right. That is good. So, well, definitely dua for the participation on that inscription. That was good, and obviously, hopefully, everybody got to learn to take something out of it, And I don't know if there's any more questions, or if anybody has something on their mind that they would like to share with the rest of us. We can do that.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the comments now. Stelly, I just want to correct myself. When I say Stella, it is singular, and Stelli is plural. So a Stella versus several Stelli. So apologize for that. Just want to correct that.
All right.
If that caused any confusion. I know the brother Kevin had asked about that. So.
Oh yes, and I definitely did forget to mention that obviously this is we're doing this live, so for the other people who are going to be watching later on, it might sound odd, but we do have a live chat right now. So if you hear us mentioning names and all of that, that is from the live chat, and you're also welcome to watch us live every Friday, every Wednesday, and then we also have a new show coming up. I think it's called Welcome to the Sabite Dome. We kind of talked about it last week, but be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, we're doing this live, so if you hear us mentioning names and all of that, that's from the live chat.
Yes. Welcome to the Sabite Dome. And just to let people know, a series that we'll be doing is Welcome to the Sabite Dome, and the word Sabite is the word for instructions, teachings. So, and dome is a place, and it's basically a spinoff of the Terror Dome or the Thunderdome, Mad Max and the Thunderdome, where Public Enemy got Welcome to the Terror Dome concept. So Sabite Dome is a place where we're gonna deal with information, but in the sense of taking the different claims that are been made that are worthwhile to address and correct. That's out there. So we'll be addressing some of those. So if you see on Facebook or other social media platforms, you'll see people who are teaching about Kemetic culture and the language, and certain claims are made that are not true, or are misinformed, or have misinformation, and we will address that. All right. So because we have to make sure that we I had a conversation earlier, just to share this. I had a conversation earlier with the brothers of the Amara Squad, and one of the things that we discussed is scholarship in and of itself. And we have to understand, we have to be mindful not to make scholarship something into something personal, and into something such as personality worshiping, because a lot of people in the social community, we tend to get caught up into personality worshiping, or taking things personal. But in scholarship, the goal of scholarship is to provide an avenue to expand the body of knowledge. And that's what science is. Science is the body of knowledge and the tools for us to even do that. So scholarship is the scholarly way, is a very uh, procedural, structural way to expand knowledge. So it's not personal. So the goal of scholarship is accuracy. So no matter what your skin color is, no matter what your background is, your social level, your class level, whatever, scholarship is about accuracy. So the loyalty that you have is to accuracy, not to worshiping people or get caught up in personalities and things like that. So I'm saying this because our series, Welcome to the Sabaite Dome, will be addressing information, not people, not attacking the personality of people, or not attacking the personal uh, livelihood of people. But claims don't make, claims don't speak for themselves. People make claims. So there will be a person's name attached to the claims that we address, but it's not personal and it's not an attack on the individual. So I just want to make sure that's clear, put that disclaimer out. And the fact that I even have to put the disclaimer out is it shows that it's necessary, because in the social community, people, we get caught up on personalities and and taking things personal, and not knowing that that's what scholarship is. And in fact, the word debate, the very word debate, is to beat down something. The actual historical meaning of the word debate is to beat down and spread out something, to beat it down. And what that is, that concept is incorporated in scholarship, because what you want to do is you want to take a claim and beat it up in order to test it and try it. And if it stands, then it's a high probability that you can add that onto the body of knowledge. So everywhere you go in academia or in the scholarly world, claims are always either critiqued, reviewed, criticized, or there's attempts to falsify it. That's what science is about. The attempts of falsifying different things. And if it can withstand that scrutiny, then we're much better off. And then you can add it on the list of the body of knowledge that we have. So I just want to put those disclaimers out there, because, when we start the series, there are going to be those who will interpret what we're doing as attacking people or whatnot. And we'll just keep reiterating this, but we have to change it up. We have to understand that this is what it's about. And anybody that goes to college, this is something that you're taught, in college. Matter of fact, anyone who goes for a PhD, you go before a board, and that board drills you. You have to actually present your dissertation, your thesis. You have to submit it in writing, and even go before the board to begin with. Once you go before the board or the committee, whatever the case is, they're going to drill you. They're going to ask questions. They're going to throw you off. They're going to ask you questions that, you're supposed to anticipate, some that you may not anticipate, but you have to be able to answer, So this is something that always happens in scholarship. And remember, scholarship has the word school or school. So it's those institutionalized principles that are at play, not street corner stuff, not vending table stuff where you arguing on the street. Arguing on the street has no structure. I won't say it has no structure, but whatever structure is developed is not tailor made in order to advance, the knowledge. So we decided to keep all this stuff in mind. So I just want to say that.
That is good. Yeah, and I guess that goes with everything that you do. I mean, if you're a musician, if you're an actor, whatever it is, if you're working in an office, the work that you put forth will get critiqued, and nobody takes that personally. It's not on the personality; it is on the work. So, that goes without saying. And I guess all that comes also with character building. Knowing, because most people are not aware and cannot separate themselves from what it is that they're doing and themselves in it. So, I would just like to add that it goes without saying. I mean, anybody that is out there in the field working or doing whatever know that we have gotten critiqued, and we get critiqued, and that's the only way we are able to move forward, better ourselves and propel our learning.
Mm-hmm. And also one more thing to add on. There's a way to do that. There's a way to do that. To actually speak on matters and everything, and this is where character comes in. So once you establish good character in in yourself as individuals or in a collective group or whatever the case is, then when a group of people that already exhibit good character, when it comes time to address misinformation, whether a person's name is attached to it, no matter what their skin color is or their age, because we have a tendency of giving people a pass just because they're of African descent, or giving people a pass just because they are older or an elder. And those things go out the window when you get into the realm of scholarship. You do it very respectfully, you do it humbly, but you address the claims, not the person, and you do it professionally and respectfully. So that way we can always keep the integrity of the body of knowledge that we call science. And that's the spirit behind Welcome to the Sabaite Dome. All right, so I just want to make sure that everyone knows that. I'll keep repeating this again once we actually do start the series.
All right. Yeah, that was good. Do we have any more questions on from the chat? And I find it odd. Like, isn't it odd when you haven't had Kofi speak? Kind of used to that voice. So, but anyway, we have Sen Kofi here tonight as well. And if we have any more questions, I don't know. Haven't looked through the chat to see if anybody has any questions. So I guess everything was very clear tonight.
I think somebody
what?
Stella. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just responding to Senate Lisa. Yes, giving old people a pass and also giving younger people a pass. I mean, some people use their age as an excuse for making mistakes and all of that. So, no to all that.
Okay, I just noticed that someone is talking about Stelle versus Stella. Just to scroll up a bit, Brother Strife 777 says Stelle and Stella is not a plurality. I see a smiley face. So I'm not sure if he's joking, but I mean, people can look up the word, and see that there's a difference because the word comes from the Latin, and it's spelled Stele, or Stela, and the plural of that is Stelae, as I said before. I'm looking right at the entry for it. So just wanted to say the difference. Now my pronunciation, because it comes from Latin, is Stella or Stelle or Stelli. All right, thought I had cleared that up.
Yes, okay. And I see Truth Hearts has a question. I mean, you can go ahead and type your question. We'll give you some time. I know there's also delays. Okay, and I see Shazmu is saying that traditional Western gravestones are technically stele, but are very rarely described by the term equally stele, like forms in non-Western cultures may be called by other names, and stela is the most.
Steely.
Did y'all hear that?
Yes.
All right, that's the official pronunciation of the plural form.
Steely.
And here's the singular form.
Stela.
So stela is singular, steli is plural. Here it is once again.
Stela.
Stela, singular.
Steely.
Steli is plural. This is from Merriam-Webster's dictionary and their audio pronunciations.
Okay. Yes, and we have Truth Heart is asking about the logo. Yeah, says that is Truth Heart is it a lady or a man? Because it's kind of you'd like to refer to as a sister or brother. But yeah, let me know if you're a sister or brother. But Truth Heart is asking about the logo. It has lines that represent something, right? That's the Seshew logo.
Yes. That they're asking a question about the lines.
Right. I can.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I see it. Your logo has lines that represent something, right? The answer is yes, it does.
Yes. And what is that? We did actually go through that some other part, but Truth Heart, definitely join our group page because we do also explain that on the group page as well. I don't know if you're already a member on a group page, but if you're not, then go ahead and do that. But we have the lines there, and that's the horizon. I think if that's what you're meaning. Um, okay, and I guess if we don't have any more questions, do we have any more questions? Um,
Now, yeah,
okay, I'm taking time just trying to scroll up and down.
yeah, I'm looking at the questions. They're still on the Stella versus Steely comment.
All right.
It just depends on the. I mean, it's not rocket science, but it just depends on the context because among archaeologists they will use the words probably a little differently, but in um, in the use of the word, if you read literature that's making reference to Kemet and everything when they talk about um, Stilla versus Stili, you'll see it spelled the two different ways, and it would change because of the singular or plural. That's all.
Okay.
But as long as we all know the objects that we're talking about, we're usually talking about stone material that's curved at the top. Matter of fact, a popular one is the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is called the Rosetta Stone. Everybody knows it as the Rosetta Stone, but it was originally, before it all broke into pieces, it was had a rounded top to it.
Okay. Yes, I can see that Truth Heart was asking something about go back to the hieroglyphs. Was there like thing was there like were there the same kind of lines on the glyph? So I'll just go ahead and show the inscription again. I don't know on which part, the bottom part or the top part. So if you just quickly let me know where you saw the lines you're talking about. Below the deity is carrying the scepter. Okay. Below these deities here. Hmm. Okay. I don't think I get the question. If you could just clarify. Is it is it below or below the legs, or does anybody see that the lines below? Same lines as we have on our logo.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the lines on the clothing of the figure on the bottom. But I think those lines are just to try and show the
Okay.
sheerness of the material.
Oh, okay. These lines
Like
here.
it would be like, yeah.
Okay. So Yeah, this one was to to show like that because the alpha is Y shear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me know truth hearts if that's what you were asking and if you got the answer.
Then he called it a sister, but yeah, I think that's a male right there.
Yeah, truth hurts. I
Sis,
say he's a brother. Mm-hmm.
yeah, Chia.
Got the
Yes.
I think
Roscoe. Y'all can't read Metal Netra says the General SETI.
Okay, yeah, we don't know about that, but yeah, we've been getting a lot of sun. We know how to read it, but yeah, but okay, this is why definitely it is important to actually. It is definitely good to know how to read the glyphs because then you would be able. Because looking at this, anybody could just assume it's a female, it's a woman. But when you get to read the inscriptions, then you will get a much more clear, accurate picture of who is being depicted or what is being depicted. So it's definitely not a lady.
Yeah, that's another thing. The outfits. A lot of times. Matter of fact, you can look at King Murden Ptah, which is I'm sorry, Seti, King Seti. um, you could look at one of his elaborate outfits, his elaborate dress in his particular temple or tomb, and it's very elaborate, and you can easily mistake him for a woman, but it's not. I mean, he's really decked out, similar to how this person, Chia,
Mm,
is in this particular picture. But imagine he's the king, so he has a lot of extra bells and whistles.
right.
So yeah, we definitely can't go by the looks, and that's one thing we definitely want to stay away. The it looks like method or the eyeball test, that's not very good. That may assist you, in your overall context and overall development of a good translation, but we can't rely on it. Not at
No.
all. If that was the case, we would think that those helicopter that there were spaceships inside um, the Temple of Abydos, and all those kinds of things. People would just look at they'll look at a trestle duck and think it's a dinosaur and say the Egyptians lived with the dinosaurs, or they'll look at a lotus on an offering table inside of a vase and think it's a actual alien extraterrestrial gray, just because the unbudded lotus leaves haven't budded yet. So we definitely can't look at the do the look-alike or it
Nah.
looks like method.
Nah.
If this was a
Nothing.
female, it would be Sabait, or female.
Yes.
Um, it'd be a lot of feminine. That's
Mhm.
that's the benefit of this particular language and even other languages. They have gender. There's two
Yes.
genders in the language.
So here you'd see the word with a raised bread loaf. Is that
Mm,
what you mean? Yeah. All right.
mm, yep.
So yes, you do actually get a clear picture when you get into reading the glyphs. And yes, the glyphs have been deciphered, and you can read it, and so don't get lazy. I know our people in the chat are not lazy because they've been breaking down all this stuff from I don't know when. So yeah, so we have good. There's a lot of people who actually do read the Medonetra, not just us.
So he says stairship. You got holler ship, fuller ship, pseudo ship, and stair ship. Wow. Um, I want to say, since the brother Uncle Keck of the Amara Squad, we may um, close out this hangout, Freestyle Friday, come to a conclusion on this, and then start another hangout where we can hang out with the brother Uncle Keck and ask him some questions about his experience with the language. What did his views of the language change over time? Because I know Uncle Keck had an opinion about the language some years back, and it'll be real interesting to see, if those opinions change. Did he do some more studying and you know gain some more information to change his mind about the language and things like that, and dealing with evolution. We all know that Uncle Keck talks about evolution, and he mentions the beetle, Kepler beetle. So, give us a chance to ask him some questions and hang out. So, if y'all want to do that, we can close this out and start another hangout.
Yes, that would be interesting, definitely. So yeah, so if we don't have any more questions and we don't want to go to the stairship and just look at the screen, do we maybe I should let somebody close out today. So maybe Seba Uja would like to close. Yes.
Well, yeah, I came in late, but everything seemed to be going really, really good, and that's what happens. That's what we do as a group. We can piggyback, or I should say piggyback, but we can rely on each other, help each other out. No one person will know everything, but as a collective group, more minds or more heads are better than one. So some of us have are stronger in some areas than others, and we can always pull on that and rely on that. And that's what I see a lot, even on especially on a Freestyle Friday, because Freestyle Friday, we are actually going straight from the dome, straight from the memory, no books, no sign lists, no dictionaries or anything. So it's to test our recollection, to test our proficiency. And the more we do this, the more we practice on our own time, when we come to these Fridays, we'll recognize more, and we can all help each other out. So I always see that on these Fridays, and I saw that when I came in, even though I came in late. So that's excellent, and I encourage everybody else to do the same thing. We want to lead by example, and and we're not perfect, so we any errors that we make, we encourage everybody to join our Facebook group. Bring up any topics that you want. Our Facebook group is focused on the culture of Kemet and its languages. So anything under that umbrella, feel free to share your research, ask your questions, or if you feel that we've made a mistake, bring it up. Because like I said, scholarship is about accuracy. It's not about personality worshiping. It's not about giving a pass to anybody just because they're your friend or they're your elder or they look like you. We have to become scientifically literate, and we have to get things back to reality. And reality is accuracy. Accuracy and reality are work hand in hand. So with that, also for those who want to actually learn and study Seshew Metal Netter, we have a class. You can go to the website, mdw-ntr.com. That's metalnetter.com. There's a 12-week course, 2 hours once a week for 12 weeks. And if you take the course, you will be able to transliterate and translate basic text. And then as you study and practice on your own, you'll get better and better and better. But as far as learning how to transliterate and translate, the differences between that, and you'll learn how and why the Seshew Metal Netter has been deciphered. There's absolutely no question about that. And if you take the course, you'll find out, you'll know the ins and outs. It's a study course that's involved. So I guess that's it. And look out for our new series, Welcome to the Sabite Dome, which we will start addressing the various different claims that's being made. Just as a teaching point. We want to address all the ins and outs, the whole 360 of all these different claims. So we're gonna start a series with that. Outside of that, that's it. Oh, and since I'm closing out, I'm sorry. See, I'm not used to closing out. I would say, dua for everyone tuning in live and those who be watching the archive. It is a little awkward because we kind of talk to the people in the chat, and then on the archives, nobody's there. So it's going to seem a little awkward. So apologize for that, but that's the way the technology is. And with that, make sure you check us out Wednesday for our Divine Words Wednesday coming up. And with that, I'll say Gore Nefir for those who are in the evening, but those who are out of the country, Beka Nefir, which is good morning and good night. And with that, I'll say Shemem Hotep.